College English Test, Band 4. Part 2, Listening Comprehension. Section A. Directions. In this section, you will hear 3 news reports. At the end of each news report, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. Both the news report and the questions will be spoken only once. After you hear a question, you must choose the best answer from the 4 choices marked A, B, C, and D. Then mark the corresponding letter on answer sheet 1 with a single line through the center. Questions 1 and 2 will be based on the following news item. If you contact the customer service department of a government agency or a major U.S. company, or order something over the phone, it's likely that your call will be answered by someone with a disability, working from their home. It could be on a farm in Iowa, or a small town in the Vermont mountains. It's one example how computer technologies is giving disabled people easier access to job market. Ed McCann is one of more than 300 disabled order entry clerks in 42 states who are working for the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS. The calls that come in for forms and publication orders to the IRS come to me, and I take information for processing those forms. People who call me sometimes are not really clear on what exactly they would need, and I'd give them the assistance and guidance determining what they would need.
Question 1. What is the news report mainly about? Question 2. How many disabled clerks working for the IRS?
Questions 3 and 4 will be based on the following news item.
The Italian aid group Emergency has had a tense relationship with local authorities in violence-racked Helmand province, due in part to its policy of treating all patients. Afghan officials said they arrested 3 Italian emergency workers Saturday, a doctor, a nurse, and a logistics worker. Afghan officials said they were held as part of an investigation into the unproved plot to kill the governor of Helmand province. Helmand province governor Gulab Mangal said an emergency staff member received $500,000 as an advanced payment for killing him. In total, 9 people, including 6 Afghans, were held after hand bombs and other weapons were discovered in the storeroom of the emergency-run hospital in Helmand's capital, Lashkargah. Emergency founder Gino Strada scolded the charge of the aid group's 3 workers.
Question 3. What happened on Saturday? Question 4. What do we learn about the Italian aid group Emergency? Questions 5 to 7 will be based on the following news item. If a new idea in America becomes a law, people who suffer from obesity could suffer financially too. The U.S. state of Arizona wants to charge overweight citizens $50 annually if they fail to follow their doctor's advice. People with children or who are overweight because they suffer from a medical condition would be excluded. If the idea is approved by Congress, Smokers and diabetics who fail to stick to a healthy lifestyle will also have to pay. Medicaid, the organization which provides health care to the poor in the USA, costs the government $339 billion a year. Monica Khoury, assistant director at Arizona's Medicaid program, said that this proposal would ask people to give something back. She said that Arizona would take a carrot-and-stick approach to the problem. As well as punishing people who go against their doctor's wishes, awards would be offered for following advice, possibly a Keep Fit video. Arizona Senator Kristen Sinema has not backed the plans, saying that there isn't a system to decide whether someone is or isn't following medical advice. Other critics claim that people don't need the government to look after them. If they want to be fat and smoke, the nanny state shouldn't try to stop them.
Question 5. What is the new idea of Arizona? Question 6. What is Medicaid? Question 7. Why do Kristen Sinema go against the plans?
Section B. Directions. In this section, you will hear 2 long conversations. At the end of each conversation, you will hear 4 questions. Both the conversation and the questions will be spoken only once. After you hear a question, you must choose the best answer from the 4 choices marked A, B, C, and D. Then mark the corresponding letter on answer sheet 1 with a single line through the center.
Conversation 1.
So, Susan, do you have anything planned for this Saturday?
I'm kind of busy. Why do you ask?
Oh, I was wondering if you'd like to get together and do something, like watch a movie or take a walk down by the lake?
I'd love to, but I'm really going to be busy all day on Saturday.
What do you have to do on that day?
First, my mom asked me to help clean the house in the morning, and then I have a dentist appointment at 12:30. I can't miss that 'cause I've canceled twice before.
Well, what about after that?
Well, I'm going to be running around all day. After the dentist appointment, I need to meet Julie at 2 o'clock to help her with her science project that's due on Monday morning at school.
Okay, but are you free after that?
Hardly. Then I have to pick up my brother from soccer practice at 4:30. And my mom asked me to cook dinner for the family at 5:30. I feel like a slave sometimes. Then I have to clean the dishes and finish reading my history assignment. Who knows how long that'll take?
Wow, sounds like you're going to have a full day. Hey, listen, why don't I come over later in the evening, and we can make some popcorn and watch a movie?
Oh, that'd be great. But our video machine is broken.
Huh. Well, let's just play a game or something.
Sounds good, but give me a call before you come. My mom might try to come up with something else for me to do.
Questions 8 to 11 are based on the conversation you have just heard. Question 8. What does Susan have to do on Saturday morning? Question 9. What time is Susan meeting with Julie? Question 10. How does Susan feel about her schedule on Saturday? Question 11. Why can't they watch a video at Susan's house?
Conversation 2. So, how are things going, Steve?
Well, to be honest, Carla, I was feeling great on Saturday, but I started to feel sick Sunday afternoon. I thought I'd get better, but I feel worse than before. And I'm really worried because I'm scheduled to have a presentation at work on Friday, so I have to be better by then.
Well, what seems to be the problem?
Well, I thought I had the flu, but the doctor said it was just a bad cold. He gave me some cold medicine to take care of my stuffy nose and fever. I'm supposed to take the medicine 3 times a day after eating, but it doesn't seem to help. He also told me to stay off my feet for a day or so, but I'm so busy these days.
Listen, forget about that medicine. I have just the thing to get rid of bad colds. You see, my mom is really into herbal medicine.
Oh, no thanks.
Come on, give it a try. You just take some of my mom's herbal tea and drink it 4 times a day. Believe me, you'll be up and dancing around in no time.
Dancing around in no time, right? Well, I guess. Nothing else seems to be doing the job.
Great. I'll come by your place at 7:30. See you then.
Questions 12 to 15 are based on the conversation you have just heard.
Question 12. How long has the man been sick? Question 13. What is the man worried about? Question 14. What's the matter with the man? Question 15. What does the woman suggest the man do?
Section C. Directions. In this section, you will hear 3 passages. At the end of each passage, you will hear some questions. Both the passage and the questions will be spoken only once. After you hear a question, you must choose the best answer from the 4 choices marked A, B, C, and D. Then mark the corresponding letter on answer sheet 1 with a single line through the center. Passage 1.
How much living space does a person need? What happens when his space requirements are not adequately met? Sociologists and psychologists are conducting experiments on rats to try to determine the effects of overcrowded conditions on man. Recent studies have shown that the behavior of rats is greatly affected by space. If rats have adequate living space, they eat well, sleep well, and reproduce well. However, if their living conditions become too crowded, their behavior pattern and even their health perceptibly change. They cannot sleep and eat well, and signs of fear and tension become obvious. The more crowded they are, the more they tend to bite each other and even kill each other. Thus, for rats, population and violence are directly related. Is this a natural law for human society as well? Is adequate space not only desirable, but essential for human survival?
Questions 16 to 18 are based on the passage you have just heard. Question 16.
What affects rats' behavior?
Question 17.
What effect may inadequate living space have on rats according to the passage?
Question 18.
What is the experiment done on rats intended to prove?
Passage 2.
Crime is a serious problem in Britain. One sort of crime which particularly worries people is juvenile delinquency, that is, crimes committed by young people. For some years, juvenile delinquency has been increasing. There are two main sorts of juvenile crime, stealing and violence. Most people do not understand why young people commit these crimes. There are, I think, a large number of different reasons. These crimes are not usually committed by people who are poor or in need. Young people often dislike and resent the adult world. They will do things to show that they are rebels. Also, in Britain today, it is easier for young people to commit crimes because they have more freedom to go where they like and more money to do what they like. There are two other possible causes which are worth mentioning. More and more people in Britain live in large towns. In a large town, no one knows who anyone else is or where they live. But in the village I come from, crimes are rare because everybody knows everyone else. Although it is difficult to explain, I think the last cause is very important. Perhaps there is something wrong with our society which encourages violence and crime. It is a fact that all the time children are exposed to films and reports about crime and violence. Many people do not agree that this influences young people. But I think that young people are very much influenced by the society they grow up in. I feel that the fault may be as much with our whole society as with these young people.
Questions 19 to 21 are based on the passage you have just heard. Question 19.
What is juvenile delinquency?
Question 20.
What can we learn about the young people who commit crimes according to the passage?
Question 21.
Who are to blame for juvenile delinquency according to the speaker?
Passage 3.